Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The manhwa starts with a car driving down the road, and a kid playing on his phone. The kid's name is Gil-soo, and his parents tell him to quit playing. Gil-soo doesn't reply, and they begin to enter a tunnel. His mother tells him that he should listen to his father, and the dad looks at him in the rearview mirror then sighs. Gil-soo says he guesses his dad regrets having him as a son, as Gil-soo is heavily bullied in school. His mother says if the kids hit him in the new school then just quit. She wants him to live a comfortable life. He calls her a liar, saying she begged his father to transfer him. But he doesn't reply and keeps playing his game. He gets a game over screen, and wonders if he should off himself. It cuts to the entrance to the Six Gates High School, and he starts to walk in saying he wants to run away, and prays for an earthquake to hit. He introduces himself to everyone, saying his name is Lee Gil-soo and he is from Seoul. He wishes time would just stop and nothing bad would happen. The students begin to clap and he looks up, as they all welcome him saying it's nice to meet him. And that it's cool to have someone from the big city in their school. Gil-soo is surprised by their warm reception. Later in the day another student approaches him with his friend. Gil-soo says he knew it would happen here too, saying that he's about to be bullied again. The student puts his hand on his back, and introduces himself as Jin Doil, saying they should go to the store and he'll show him around. Gil-soo is surprised, saying it's the first time he's gone to the store with friends. Doil comments on his friend's eyebrows, saying they are like Rock Lee's. Gil-soo says he thinks they're charming in their own way, and he starts to wonder why the school is so friendly. He looks around as everyone seems happy, and like they are having a good time. He wonders if he can also have a peaceful time, but gets bumped into. He begins to feel nervous. The student says he's soaked. Gil-soo starts to panic and apologizes profusely saying he'll clean it. The man says he's fine, and appreciates the offer. Gil-soo is stunlocked, but says he truly can live a normal life here. The bell rings to let them out, and he says the vibes here are really different, and he was worried for no reason. He says that he is glad he moved. Doil comes to his desk, asking if he has any plans today. Gil-soo says no, and Doil asks if he wants to hang out with him. Later in the night, they are walking down the street. Gil-soo says he's been walking for a while, wondering where they are going. He decides to ask Doil, who says he has somewhere to show him, and he has to come here as a newbie. Gil-soo says that seems forced, but now he thinks about it as they are going further from the city. Doil asks if he's ever boxed, or if he's used to fighting. Gil-soo says not really. Doil laughs saying he's gonna need some balls for this, and to hurry up since they are almost there. Gil-soo says he didn't realize earlier, that Doil is covered in scars. He starts to think about all of the schools he's been bullied out of, and wonders if Doil is about to bully him too. He stops walking, and turns around saying he has to leave. Doil grabs his shoulder, saying they are almost there. And to just come take a quick look if he's busy. Gil-soo, being unable to stand up for himself, decides to follow along to a warehouse. He starts to feel defeated and betrayed. As Doil opens the door we hear chanting and Gil-soo closes his eyes out of fear, but slowly opens them to see that it's actually some kind of fighting event. It's full of nothing but students watching. One of the fighters catches a mean roundhouse, and Gil-soo's jaw is dropped. Doil says he must be shocked, and says this is his school's fighting arena, and we see the fighters helping one another. Gil-soo is surprised, and another man calls down to them, asking Doil who he's got with him. His name is Chung, the president of their school. Doil tells him he just transferred here today, but Gil-soo thinks the guy is too old to be a student. Rock Lee tells Doin to hop in the ring and he's gonna get payback for making fun of the caterpillars on his head. Doil says he's down. Chung then tells Gil-soo it's nice to meet him. Gil-soo is surprised by the height difference, and Chung welcomes him to the school. The students start to roar, as Doil and Rock begin brawling. Gil-soo asks why they are fighting when they are friends. Chung starts to laugh saying the freshmen aren't bad. Gil-soo is still confused, but luckily Chung fills us in a bit saying it's the true face of their school. And he's sure he can tell the school has no bullies, however they do have violence. The rule is it has to be inside of the arena. Gil-soo is shocked. Chung says he can tell by looking at him that he's getting perma-bullied, so he should free some stress here. As everyone is equal in the face of violence, this is what the Six Gates fighting arena truly is. Gil-soo's eyes shine brightly. Chung says he doesn't like complex stuff, and he won't repeat himself, so listen closely. Rule 1 is that only the Six Gates students can enter here. Entry isn't allowed after graduation, or if they drop out or get expelled. Rule 2: all fights are one-on-one, and no weapons. Rule 3: the guidance council students act as referees. We hear the juice guy saying there he is, and asks Gil-soo where he's been. Gil-soo remembers him from earlier, and the guy says he wants to fight to make up for the cleaning fee. Chung says it seems like he has an opponent, and learn as he goes. Rule number 4: all violence is banned outside the arena, and if you dislike someone then resolve it in the arena, just have fun and do not be scared. Inside the right, Gil-soo wonders how he's meant to enjoy it. The referee raises his hand, and Gil-soo is intimidated by his opponent, saying his instincts from 3 years as a bullying victim are screaming. The students keep chanting, and some of them say that the new kid is unlucky that Kang In-hae picked him. He's someone famous's little brother. In-hae asks Gil-soo if he isn't going to move first, saying he was giving him a handicap because it's his first time. But Gil-soo is riddled with fear, unable to move. In-hae says if he won't use the chance, he will, and charges in. Gil-soo starts to shake, then his eyes begin to water up. The spectators' eyes change from anticipation to nothing but pure disgust after we see that Gil-soo has covered In-hae in vomit. In-hae realizes what happened, and the students start to laugh. In-hae tells them to give him a towel or something. Gil-soo says he's never even thrown a punch, so he can't do this. It cuts to the bathroom. Some students are talking about the fighting arena, and say it was embarrassing. Gil-soo sits in the stall listening to this, and says that he is completely screwed. He thought it was a normal school, but it is anything but. Even with Chung saying he should have fun, he can't do that. He knows it will happen today too. But since he can't be bullied, he should go. It jumps again to Chung doing push-ups with 2 other students on his back. He gets to 999 then struggles, but manages to get to 1000 with them on his back. Gil-soo asks how the hell he is a high schooler. Chung asks him if he has something to say. Gil-soo says he has a question about the fighting arena. Chung asks if he has another skill besides vomiting. Gil-soo says that's not it, and he wants to say he cannot fight in the arena. The students are speechless. Chung asks why, saying he wasn't injured yesterday. Gil-soo tells him he has no confidence, he can't hit anyone, nor does he find it fun. He doesn't even understand the fighting arena. He asks if he can't. Chung puts his hand on his neck, saying that means he can just beat him up as much as he wants. Gil-soo asks what he means, but Chung ignores, saying as the school president he's announcing that Gil-soo is not protected by the arena any longer. School continues as normal, and Gil-soo wonders what will happen to him. In-hae shows up, saying that he heard about what happened, and how he won't be going to the arena. He instantly slams Gil-soo's face into his desk, saying he'll teach him what that means in this school. He said he needed a slave, and laughs, saying he's his now. The other students completely ignore as Gil-soo gets kneed in the face. In-hae says that it was a good hit, and one of the other students says he's heard about how he moved due to bullying. In-hae says it makes a lot of sense with how much of a coward he is, then tells him to come to his class every time there is a break. Gil-soo begins to cry, as they just continue kicking him in the back of the class. In the staff room, we overhear Gil-soo telling a teacher he is going to drop out. Gil-soo says he's preparing for it and he'll just take the exam for his diploma. He looks down, saying he did everything he could. He apologizes to his family, saying they have a worthless son. He begins to walk away from school, saying now his school life is over. As he exits the gate, Chung asks him why he's not fighting, and tells him to explain it to him. Gil-soo is hesitant, but looks down, saying he's sorry, since someone who is crazy about fighting can't understand how he feels. Gil-soo says he has trauma from violence, and was severely bullied. But now he just wants to give up, saying he's done what he can. Chung puts his hand on his shoulder, saying he's more pathetic than he thought. Gil-soo asks what he means. Chung starts to walk towards him, asking who said he needs to fight like a pro, and says if he has no teeth to use his gums, and if he has no strength then to use his guts. That's what fighting is about. He grabs onto his collar, saying he doesn't even want to protect himself. Gil-soo starts to cry, wondering what he did wrong, and Chung asks if he thinks the outside world is all sunshine and rainbows, saying he'll remain a loser for his entire life. Gil-soo starts to walk home, saying he doesn't know what it's like, as he's never been weak, and that he is done. As he's going home, In-hae says he's heard he won't be coming to school starting tomorrow, and laughs while grinning. He asks how he could drop out without telling them. He says if he leaves, who will be his sandbag, and ever since Chung made the fighting arena he's not had any slaves. He asks him if he thinks it'll all be over if he drops out, telling him to follow along. We hear them beating him up, and we see them jumping him in an alley. Gil-soo says he feels like he's going to die, hoping they'll stop. In-hae says he should be glad. If it were the 6 gates when his brother was around, he'd definitely be dead. He then asks if the address he's been told is accurate. Gil-soo wonders what he means by address, and In-hae says he can't believe Gil-soo lives in such a nice house, then reads out his address. He says next time they'll come over and laughs. Gil-soo stands up, asking what he plans to do at his house. In-hae tells him to stand still, or he's going to take a photo of him and send it to everyone. Gil-soo wonders what he did so wrong in his life for this to happen. He thought it would finally be over and he would escape this painful hell. But right as he thought it was over, he was pulled back down. He recalls Chung's words, saying fighting isn't only about strength, and how much a coward he is for not wanting to protect himself. They grab onto his face, and he lets out a scream. In-hae laughs saying look at this loser, and says to hold him tighter. Gil-soo asks again why he deserves this, asking what he did wrong, and knocks In-hae's phone out from his hands, causing it to crack on the floor. He decides to use his teeth, and we see In-hae screaming in pain. As Gil-soo bit down onto his hand, Gil-soo says since he's weak this is what he has to do, saying he'll struggle with all he's got. In-hae hits him in the face, knocking him down. Gil-soo starts to stand back up, and In-hae says he's crazy, and that it hurts. Gil-soo pants, saying he's sure it does. In-hae looks down and Gil-soo says if he's going to die, he'll drag him down with him. In-hae laughs saying look at that, even a rat bites back when cornered. He asks if he's ready as the other two run in at him. Gil-soo doesn't run, and throws dirt at them saying to get lost. He says he doesn't need to look cool while fighting. In-hae wonders if he grabbed it when he fell. He starts to run and In-hae yells for them to chase him. Gil-soo wonders if he's gone crazy. Back at the fighting arena we see the door open and Chung looks over to see Gil-soo entering, saying he'll do it. The students are surprised he came back. He says he'll join the fighting arena. We see In-hae's group behind him, and Chung smirks saying he's more fun than he thought. Back inside the ring he is told to fight, and one of In-hae's men say he should be the one fighting the nerd. His name is Park Yongo. Another lackey tells Yongo to keep his voice down, as Chung is here. He says he knows, as they always need to be careful. Gil-soo gets clocked in the face, then kneed in the stomach, then catches another hit to the face. In-hae asks if he thought he'd be able to do something in a fight, and hits him again, causing Gil-soo to lose his balance. In-hae raises his leg, then kicks him in the face saying he'll teach him a lesson. He laughs asking how it is, saying surely he regrets it now. Gil-soo glares at him, and In-hae gets pissed, saying to lower his eyes. He slaps him, and starts to insult him. After each insult is a slap, he says a loser should act like one, saying this isn't a webtoon. Then goes for another roundhouse, knocking Gil-soo across the floor. The students say this is pretty intense, wondering if Gil-soo broke something. In-hae says he got too excited, hoping he isn't dead. Gil-soo starts to stand back up, but In-hae says he surely should have been knocked out. He tells him not to act tough, saying he might kill him. Gil-soo asks how, saying this isn't even close enough. He goes in for a tackle, saying this is nothing to the pain he's endured until now. In-hae falls to the floor, and they say Vomit Boy has some moves. In-hae says he caught him off guard. Gil-soo screams going for a punch, but gets hit instead. In-hae asks how these slow punches will do anything. Gil-soo recalls Kwang's words again, and In-hae says oh, as Gil-soo headbutts him, causing his nose to bleed. The students say this is more fun than they thought. Chung says even with the adrenaline dulling the pain, he surely took some damage, and that Gil-soo has some resilience for sure. In-hae kicks him off him, causing Gil-soo to fall to the floor. In-hae cleans the blood off his face, asking if he has a death wish. Gil-soo stands back up, not ready to give up. He wonders if this is how it's always been, if the gangs he was terrified of were really only this strong. The students start to chant his name, and he grits his teeth, charging back into In-hae. He screams while going for a Superman punch, but gets hit with an upper from In-hae, as he goes to lose his consciousness. In-hae says he won't let him catch him off guard anymore. Gil-soo is knocked out, leaving In-hae declared the winner. Later that night Gil-soo wakes up, wondering if he fainted, but says he finally stood up for himself. He even managed to land a hit. But wishes he remained calm, and starts to think about what he should have done to win. Saying if only he was a bit stronger, he sees Chung appear overhead. He asks him if he's feeling more clear-headed now. Gil-soo looks around seeing nobody else is there, and asks if he's here because of him. Chung says it's his job as the president, as nobody should be heavily injured here. It's a place to protect the students. He says he surely knows it was only for today, and he's now allowed inside anymore since he's leaving the school. He starts to leave, but Gil-soo asks him what he needs to do. Chung asks what he means. Gil-soo says he isn't going to drop out, So please tell him what to do because he wants to become stronger. Gil-soo explains how in the start it was all because of a flying slipper, it accidentally hit him, but he didn't seem bothered. So the students gave each other a stare, then started to beat him up asking for money, since he was exposed as a weakling. They laugh saying people like him need to be beaten, and all started kicking him. Gil-soo says this was his start as someone who couldn't protect himself. However, now is different, he really wishes to be stronger. Chung smiles, saying training the weak is also his job as president. He walks up to Gil-soo asking if he's ready, then hits him in the stomach. Gil-soo coughs up blood, and screams in pain. Chung says it must hurt like hell, but it's just the start. He'll make him able to tank his punches. The next day, Gil-soo says that hurt a ton, wondering how hard he was hit, and recalls Chung saying to find him during his breaks. Gil-soo wonders if it'll really make him stronger. Then Do-il calls out to him, saying he thought he was going to quit. Gil-soo says he changed his mind. Do-il says he must like the arena then, saying he's got some balls. Then we hear In-hae, and Gil-soo looks up to see him saying the sandbag is back. Gil-soo knows he's strong. In-hae says he didn't expect him to come back, asking if he wants revenge, but tells him to learn his place. Since he might kill him next time, they walk their separate ways. Do-il turns to see Gil-soo shaking with anger. Gil-soo is determined to get strong so he won't lose to bastards like that anymore. On the roof, we see Gil-soo get hit in the face, then quickly in the stomach by Gil-soo. Chung tells him to keep his eyes open, telling him to follow his fist. And he isn't allowed to fight until their training is over. Gil-soo says no way, asking how the hell this is training, and closes his eyes. We learn it's been several days since training began. He gets hit with blow after he gets hit with a left hook. Then gets kicked causing him to go flying. He says it's just a one-sided beating rather than training. We see In-hae in the ring looking down on his opponent, who clearly got his shit rocked. They say he's been merciless since fighting Gil-soo, and his ego is hurt. They jokingly say his weakness is headbutting, and barf attack. In-hae says if they are so confident, then to fight back. The guy apologizes, and backs away. In-hae walks through the crowd, saying they are all idiots. He asks his friends if they've seen Gil-soo today. They say not really and they've not seen him during breaks. He's also not showing up to the arena. They say he's like rejecting the arena. In-hae has a Sherlock Holmes moment. He thinks of Chung, then smirks saying he has an idea. A way to beat up some losers. That night we see Gil-soo running on the track. He is gassed out, and recalls all of the beating he's been getting. Asking if he can really become stronger, with this kind of training method. But decides that he needs to train harder so he can achieve his goals. A motorcycle pulls up, driving at him, bumping his shoulder. The guy on the bike stops driving, saying what the hell, you scratched my bike. Then gets off saying they need a discussion, and starts to ask for compensation for his bike repairs. Gil-soo asks how he's meant to get that much money, and he's the one who hit him. The guy grabs onto his hair, saying he looks like a loser. He punches him asking if he's trying to scam him. His friends laugh saying they are witnesses and he ran into him. Gil-soo says what, and the guy keeps talking to him, saying to respond. Gil-soo is confused, asking why he isn't scared at all. The guy says he should just give him all of the money he has now. Gil-soo says he's been being beaten by a monster all this time, and knocks the guy's hand away. Then hits the guy in the face with his left, asking why he would give him money. Saying he isn't even remotely scared of him. The guy grabs his wrist, asking if it was meant to be a punch. Gil-soo wonders why it didn't hurt him at all. He forgot a light breeze would knock him over. The rest are surprised, as we see Gil-soo windmilling and screaming, saying he's never learned about damage, he's only learned to be hit. The guy kicks him asking if he's doing a skit. The rest laugh saying he's a windmill, and they mistook him for a mime trying to swim. The guy puts on some knuckle dusters, laughing saying to hold him tight, and he'll get his act together once he gets beaten up. He tells him to clench his teeth, and goes in for a punch, but someone leaps up from the top rope, kneeing the guy in the face, who we learn is named Sangchul. Gil-soo is surprised, as we see it's none other than Do-il. He laughs after seeing it was Gil-soo. One of the lackeys rush at him, but he dodges the swing and replies back with a left to the face. Another runs in with a piece of wood, but gets blocked with a left as well. The girl screams at the sight of her friends, and she asks how they can faint and leave her alone. Gil-soo is surprised he's strong, saying he thought he was a normal dude. The girl asks if they know who they are, saying they are the strongest first years of Jinsang High School. Sangchul tells her to quit as she goes to hit him, saying it won't matter if they get others, and that he's from 6 Gates High. He says he thought the loser was being weird, but they messed with the wrong person. They quickly ride off, and Doil clicks his tongue saying stupid bastards, then asks how he got involved with them. A bit later he's told about his special training from Chung, and Doin says he must be serious about fighting. Gilsoo says yeah, but he's hella weak and was doing stamina training when they jumped him. Doil says he saw him throwing hands, laughing saying it was flashy for sure. He says it was good he wasn't scared, but he's not strong enough to fight more than one person. He says if it were him he'd have dodged the punch, and countered, but says he's jealous that Chung picked him. It's important for him who rejected the arena, to adjust to it. It's a unique school, he recalls Sangchul saying he shouldn't have messed with him. He asks Doil about why they ran after seeing he's from the Six Gates. Doil laughs saying of course. Their school is famous. Gilsoo asks why, and Doil says that it's got a long history of school violence. It used to be like a jungle, and got too rampant with it. Gilsoo says that it's not like that anymore though. Doil says it's all due to Chung. He conquered this school and made the fighting arena, along with its rules. The school slowly became cleaner, as it had another method to resolve pent-up anger. But if the arena, or Chung disappears, the rules are meaningless. Who knows when it'll return back to the hell it was, and there are some people who want it to return like it was. In the arena we see a student saying he's lost, and Yongo asks if that's all he's got, pointing to someone else saying to get up here. And he picked him since he hates the way he looks. Yongo asks if he's declining the request to fight. Inhei's group laughs saying he's on a roll today. Inhei calls them losers, saying they need to learn their places. Yongo goes in with a left, hitting the guy in the face, then follows with a right. The guy tells him to wait, but Yongo goes in for the finisher with a kick, saying this is too easy. Inhei tells everyone to move, saying it's his turn. The students wonder who he is going to pick, and he picks one of the students yapping about him. Saying to get up here already, the guy asks why him, saying they don't even know each other. Inhei says he doesn't need a reason, he's just in a bad mood from seeing him. He picks him up by the collar, asking if he plans to reject it and end up like Gilsoo. Chung enters, asking him what he's doing, and looks angry. He asks him what's going on. Inhei says he made a fighting request but there was a misunderstanding, and asks him if he has a problem with that, saying he's not gone against any of the rules. Back to before, Inhei is with his boys and they are asking what his plan is. Inhei says that Gilsoo shot himself in the foot. He's the first in the entire school to say no to the fighting arena. As long as you've got arms and legs anyone can fight in the arena. Everyone is equal in the face of violence, that's the school's rules. They may boast that, but if you look closely there are cowards who only enjoy watching the fights, they never fight themselves, as they are all losers. Inhei's boys say that's true, and they've been having a comfortable time too, but that idiot Gilsoo exposed this, so what'll happen if they challenge those who hit until now? Yongo says they'll be forced to fight. To avoid being like Gilsoo, Inhei says that's exactly it, and the arena will now be their playgrounds. Back to the present, with him asking Chung what's wrong, saying he's not broken any rules. Chung tells him not to put on some false bravado. Inhei laughs apologizing for the commotion, saying he'll choose more carefully next time. Back on the rooftop, we see Chung unleashing a flurry of blows onto Gilsoo, and finishes it with a kick. Gilsoo says he feels like he'll die, but catches his balance and blocks a hit. Saying he's not as scared as he used to be. Chung says he's getting used to his hits. Gilsoo swings back, but Chung dodges it. Gilsoo says if he wants to win he needs to land a hit. Then goes back in swinging without any real plan. Chung starts to get pissed, and smacks him saying to shut up. He tells him to stop screaming like a loser, and Gilsoo says that hurt more than usual. Chung tells him he needs to learn the 1-2, and if he does he can win a fight. At the arcade club, Gilsoo says this place is old, asking why they are here. Gilsoo opens the door, to see a bald guy. Some of you may recognize Bob. Chung tells him to raise both of his fists to his chin, then tuck his chin in and put his feet shoulder width apart. And to be lightly on his feet, he tells him to lightly throw the 1, or the jab, and for the 2 or the straight to rotate your hips, shoulder and use your legs to generate force 2, giving it maximum power. Gilsoo says that shit sounded like a gunshot, but says it's his turn now. He awkwardly jabs, then throws a straight. He says he's getting the hang of it, but he sees the score is the same as before. Chung tells him the machine is broken, so unless it's got some real impact it won't register. He needs to hit it hard enough, then he'll be able to damage his opponent. He tells him to find his own form, and not to show himself until he can get the high score. It jumps to Rock on his phone and his girlfriend says they should stop seeing each other. He wonders why she's acting like this again. He bumps into Yongo and apologizes. But Yongo throws him to the floor, his phone drops too and cracks. Yongo says he didn't mean to bump into him. Rock says he clearly did it on purpose. Yongo says judging by his face he has a problem, and they should settle it in the arena. Rock looks a bit afraid, and shakily says no, it was his fault. Yongo laughs as the others look, saying it clearly was. And it wasn't school violence, but just a mistake where he bumped into him. Yongo tells him to be careful next time. Doil picks him up, saying they should report this. But Rock says to just leave it, and it's not worth making a deal out of it. But Doil looks pissed. In the cafeteria, Gilsoo is pigging out saying he is hella hungry. And he can't increase his score, and wonders how he should do it. Yongo says sorry, and drops his food onto Gilsoo's head. He starts to laugh, saying he didn't see him around, and wonders where he's always disappeared to. Then slaps his back, saying he missed him. He keeps slapping it saying it's good to see him after so long, asking if he feels the same way, and his eyes are filled with malice. We see them talking outside the cafeteria about how they just bullied Rock and got away with it. Inhei says it's time to do it to Gilsoo and show him what it's like to mess with them. Yongo says he'll deal with it, he doesn't need to be involved, and to trust him. Gilsoo grabs his hand, and Yongo says he's learned to resist now, saying he's cute when he's angry. Gilsoo is pissed, but Chung has him banned from the arena until he's done training. But he says he has no choice with this. Doil says to shut the hell up, and he's trying to eat. Then throws his food tray at Yongo. Doil says you shouldn't bother a dog when it's eating. Gilsoo is caught off guard by this. Doil says he needs to know his place. Yongo asks if he's gone crazy. Doil says it isn't school violence, and laughs saying his hand just slipped. But says he wanted to fight, so this is good. He tells him he'll educate him in the arena tonight. We see Doil washing his clothes, and that Gilsoo's changed into a jersey, and thanks him for helping him. Doil says he didn't do it for him, and while it may look that way he's just wanting to educate Inhei's lackey. He's tired of seeing them act up in the arena. He says he hasn't been there for a while so he doesn't know. Gilsoo asks what's going on. Doil says they've been choosing the weak students intentionally and assaulting them in the arena. When the students get scared, they use Gilsoo as an example. But he hasn't had the opportunity to fight them yet, so this is good, so he can protect the arena. Gilsoo asks why he wants to protect the arena. Saying if he's that strong the arena shouldn't matter to him, asking if he has a reason. He says he had a dark period like Gilsoo. It flashbacks to piss in a jar with some other stuff, and a student saying it's a freshly made piss latte for Piggy. Telling him to open his mouth, and we see a fatter Doil. He says he was fat and shy when he was younger, and got severely bullied. The bully grabbed onto his mouth, saying to drink up, but a big hand grabs the bullies. Saying they should be nice to their friend, as someone had saved Doil. He thanks the man saying he doesn't know who he is. The man hands him a paper. Asking if he wants to do some diet boxing. Turns out the man was a director of a boxing gym. After that he tried boxing for the first time, and got obsessed with the sport. We see him progressively losing his weight, and that's how he was transformed by boxing. The bully gets sent to the floor, and the rest try to apologize saying they were wrong. As they couldn't mess with him any longer, and even those who acted like gangsters were just weaklings. Gilsoo is surprised he used to be bullied. Doil laughs saying the rules of the arena that Chung made are a bit much, but he likes that people get to fight with the freedom of picking their opponent, and he'll body Yongo so make sure to watch. That night in the arena, we see them staring at one another. Yongo says he doesn't know where Doil suddenly got his guts from. Doil asks if he's here to fight with his words, saying to stop yapping and to start. Yongo smirks, saying he seems rearing to go. Gilsoo wishes him good luck. The referee starts the fight. Yongo rushes in with a jab, but Doil blocks it. Yongo is surprised. He continues with jabs, but they are all dodged easily. Yongo returns with his own, hitting him though. The students are surprised by how quick Doil is. Yongo says he is faster than expected, and wonders if he's purely a boxer. Doil starts to push forward pushing Yongo back with jabs. Yongo says he may be quick, but his punches are weak as hell. He throws a punch back saying he's stronger, but the attack is blocked. Doil goes for another jab, but Yongo dodges and goes for an uppercut, but it was all a bait as Doil hits him with his own upper, saying it was a good hit. Yongo realizes he was lured in intentionally. Gilsoo is surprised, saying he's dominating the fight. Yongo hasn't even landed a single blow. They ask if Doil has always been this strong, and they say Yongo will lose his streak at this rate. Gil-soo is surprised that Yongo is undefeated. Yongo tries an overhand right, misses, a left hook, misses a right, misses. He starts to lose his rationality, saying he can't land a single blow. Doil starts to shit-talk him, and laughs, asking if he thought these hits would land. He hits Yongo with a jab, saying the lighter ones need to land, for the heavy ones to land as well, hitting with a right. Yongo is kneeling, and Doil says for talking so much, he's really not amounting to much. Telling him to stop bothering coming to the arena, Yongo looks over at Inhei, smirking, saying not to worry as he won't leave. Yongo says he admits he's better at boxing, but he'll fight him properly here on out. Gil-soo is surprised. Yongo raises his leg towards Doil, taking a Muay Thai stance, saying it's time to start the actual fight. If you've watched till the end, comment, Ghost, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.